For all who comes to this goofy place, welcome.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of The Goofy Scoop.
Whoop,
Today is our season 2 finale.
Whoop, whoop. Double on the whoop.
Congratulations.
Let's
to
go.
You, if you're listening and you made it this far. Congratulations.
Congratulations to us as well, Gray.
Yeah.
Congratulations to everybody that participates in
honestly,
the Goofy Scoop.
Just congrats to everyone in general for what you're alive today, and that's a good thing. Anyway, today we are going to be talking about Walt Disney World's 50th anniversary. We have waited for this topic because it's a big one. We're excited about it. And if you're watching on YouTube, you can tell that I am all decked out for the 50th. Because
you got 50th shirt, 50th hat. You even have a 50th bag.
Yeah.
Reusable bag in the background.
A big fan. So, but we'll get to it. I'm also drinking out of my 50th mug today.
And I'm just, if you're watching YouTube, I'm dressed like a Disney dad with my Pop Century reusable cup.
Classic. We're basically, just in our regular outfit. This is what I wear every Tuesday. So anyway, we're going to be talking about the 50th anniversary of Walt Disney World. Some things we like, some things we didn't like, and some things that are just the same and we're bored. So,
yep. And before we get started with, that, I think it was a pretty fast year and a half, October 1st of 21 to April something of 23.
I feel like at the same time, it's gone on kind of long.
So I don't know.
Is that weird? Like, I feel like it's been the 50th forever.
Yes and no. It depends on how you look at it, because I mean, with like Happily Ever After, it's been a long time since I've seen that show.
That's true. But the fact that I've gone to Disney World twice during the 50th, blows my mind.
That you didn't think you were going to go at all, or you thought you were going to go way more?
No, I knew that I was going to go once. I didn't think I would go twice.
Really? Okay. And I'm over here going 6 times.
Yeah, well.
I went 4 times.
As rich as you, Jeff.
I'm not. I was broke every time, dude. I've been 4 times during the 50th now. After our reunion trip. Our reunion trip makes it the 4th time. Wow. So, yeah, we got a lot of what is it?
Nothing. I said nothing. Next.
All right.
Anyway, we are going to talk about a lot of things today. So, I hope you're ready. We're going to jump in right now with one of the main focal points in all of Disney World. Honestly, the main focal point in all of Disney World. The main focal point that is everything that is Disney is Cinderella's castle.
And they missed the mark. You have a ghost in your room. If you're watching on YouTube, your reusable bag just fell behind you, and that creeped me out.
And it revealed more Disney things.
What's behind the bag?
We're just going to leave it and move on. Anyway, we're talking about Cinderella's castle, the main focal point of everything that is Disney World. And Disney repainted it for the 50th celebration.
And like I was going to say before the ghost appeared, they missed the mark on that castle. I will say that. You think so? Yes. Now, did it grow on me? Slightly. But I want to know how it's going to look without that 50th badge on there. Because that 50th badge is what kind of makes it all become one, in my opinion. Because it has that, just that shimmering look. Is it iridescent?
Iridescent, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, it has that shimmer to it. So it goes with that bright blue. It goes with that pink and then the gold trim. So it just makes sense. When I first saw it, I was like, oh my God, somebody vomited all over my beautiful castle that I'm used to, the white, blue, and gray. But I don't know. Overall, I think they missed the mark. Did it grow on me? Yes.
I personally, when I first saw it, hated it. And
I think most of us did.
Yeah. But now I still hate it. Nothing has changed. It's the same colors as Sleeping Beauty's castle in Disneyland now.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't like that. They're different castles for a reason. Like different princesses, different castles.
And I don't even think about that, because if Kylie is listening, I'll still say it anyway. Sleeping Beauty castle is irrelevant out here in the Disney World.
In Florida. But anyway, I just think it's a different castle. I understand they were celebrating the 50th, but I don't know that they're going to change it back. You think they're gonna repaint the castle back? I don't think they will.
I hope not, because then I feel like it's gonna. I feel like if they do repaint it, because okay, so let's jump back a little bit to 2020, right, when they were prepping for October 1st of 2021 for this 50th anniversary celebration. They took way too long. The parks were closed for 4 months. They couldn't finish painting the castle within 4 months. So then, even when people were excited to come back when they finally opened up the gates, then people still couldn't take that beautiful castle pick that they wanted to and saved up to be able to accomplish for years on some people's like families and wages and all this stuff.
But it's because when they closed for COVID, they just stopped. They didn't do anything.
Which
nobody came to work.
I think it's ridiculous. I think they should have worked. Still,
part of me says it's ridiculous, but at the same time, like they were trying to keep all their cast members safe and that kind of thing. But there was a lot of time.
They should have kept their cast members hired.
Yeah,
they fired me due to this.
That's
this virus.
A different conversation for a different day.
I'm salty. Can't tell.
Yeah, Jeff is salty. Jeff wishes he was still there.
I do every day.
Wishes.
There you go.
But like, do I feel like they could have finished some stuff during that time? Yes.
Absolutely.
But do I also feel like that they like needed to kind of keep their people separated and distance, and they were just being over careful? Also, yes. So I mean, I kind of understand why they didn't, but at least the castle should have been finished painting before they reopened. But
yeah,
they were
you could have easily social distance on that thing.
They were also losing money every single day they weren't open, and so to them, they were like, it doesn't matter. We just need to open to make money.
Were they losing money though? Because Disney Plus skyrocketed.
Well, well, yeah, but that was still something that they were like paying, like they were paying other people to do. I still feel like they were losing money.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure they probably were taking a huge money hit, but I don't know. But yeah, overall, the castle, ew. Did it grow on me? Yes. Overall, still not very happy about it.
On a scale of 0 to 10, -5.
0 through 10, I'd give it a 5. It's not the worst thing I've seen, not the best thing I've seen. Now, the OG castle that I've always known and grown up with, it's like a 10. Easy.
What about like the cake? What about the cake castle when they did the 25th anniversary?
Oh god.
-10 out of 10.
Yeah, that one's definitely negative numbers for me.
Yeah, I thought that was dumb.
And speaking of eyesores, Gray, let's go ahead and move to another thing that bothered me, and it even bothered you and AJ as well on our reunion trip, the harmonious barges.
Yes. Okay. I'm going to throw this out there. Harmonious was a new show for the 50th. I personally, the show as a whole, I loved it.
It's a great show.
I enjoyed the music, the water features, the fireworks. I loved all of it. But the barges during the day, they were like, yeah, they're going to be pretty fountains. No. They ruined the view.
Even if they were fountains.
The lake.
When were they fountaining water?
Like sometimes they were on and sometimes they weren't. It was just like random.
The only cool
thing is that they could put like messages on the screens in the middle of the lake, but it still didn't look good.
Yeah, see, I just never looked in that general direction. I used to look across World Showcase all the time until those barges showed up. And then once those barges showed up, I was like, I do not care to look across the water.
It just took away. I mean, I do think that Harmonious as a whole is one of like the best nighttime shows that Disney has ever done. I think it's a great show.
I will agree with that, especially on Epcot. At Epcot.
Yeah, especially at Epcot.
Yeah.
But if that show has to have those barges there all the time, I don't think it's worth it.
No. Yeah, because the was it Epcot Forever or was it what was the show before Epcot Forever?
Illuminations.
There we go. I was drawing a blank. Because I really don't care for the Epcot shows. I really don't. It's Magic Kingdom or Studios for me.
I did like Epcot Forever, and I'm happy that with the ending of the 50th, they're getting rid of the barges, which they originally said they were never going to do. Like they were just going to be there. But I think there was so much backlash for it that they're getting rid of them. and they're bringing back Epcot Forever, which I really enjoyed. It had kites and stuff in it that like lit up, and it had fireworks and music, and
it was nice. There was a lot of stuff going on in the water.
I really enjoyed it, and it was, to me, a more enjoyable experience during the day because it was just open water. But yeah. And speaking of kites and shows, another thing that Disney brought during the 50th that they've already stopped doing, which I'm disappointed in, is
which I wonder why.
I don't know. It probably was like a safety thing if there were high winds or whatever.
It was maybe just too much that possibly could go wrong, where they were like, man, okay, this show's not very reliable.
Yeah. I mean, it didn't bring in big crowds either. But Kite Tales was just a kite show. They would fly kites around on the back of jet skis in the pavilion at Animal Kingdom in the lake. And then there would be people that would walk through with like different big handheld puppets or kites. And I personally thought it was a really good show. And I also didn't know that there were different variations of the show. So there was like a Jungle Book one, a Lion King one.
Oh, was there really?
Yes, there were multiple shows.
Okay, did not know that.
My mom and I watched it, and we like went in, and we were like, oh, we didn't get to see the Mufasa kite. And then we like left, and we were walking, and from afar we saw the Mufasa kite. And that's when we figured out there were different shows. There was like different music playing and that kind of thing.
Okay.
So it was like a whole different show because I guess you have to like clean the kites, or they can't get wet after they fall in the water.
I was about to say, they gotta dry off. Yeah. Okay.
But so like they figured out it was a different show. But I personally just thought it was like a fun little reliever. I mean, Animal Kingdom's not a huge park. There's not a ton to do. And adding that show gives more people something to do. And it makes use of that pavilion. I mean, they got rid of Rivers of Light, so there's no nighttime show at
which Animal I did not watch one time.
I did. I've seen it once.
I heard it was bad.
I mean, there's like some boats and fire, but that's I
remember seeing like flowers. I remember taking a peek over to my right when I was walking towards Everest one night, and there was like flowers or something.
Yeah, there's like a flower. It's like a really big flower, like lit on fire. I don't know. To me, it was cool, but I like little dumb things. I'm weird. I've always enjoyed like the little shows and stuff.
I mean, that doesn't make you weird because in a sense, I understand that, because what I was kind of thinking when you were talking about like a reliever, I was like, yeah, that's a perfect time to sit down with the family, girlfriend, wife, whatever the situation is. Like us, like a month and a half ago, just with friends. It'd be nice to just buy some popcorn, ice cream, something. Just sit down, talk, and just have something going on in front of you while you're, taking a relief break. And go ahead.
My mom and I really enjoyed it when we went. And we were able to just kind of sit down, relax. And I mean, truly, we did pretty much everything we wanted to do that day, except we didn't ride Flight of Passage, but that's a whole other thing. But like we did everything else while we were there and really enjoyed it. And we still had time to like sit down and watch that show. And it gave us a breather. We were able to sit down, have a snack, relax for a few minutes. We weren't just constantly walking to get to the next thing and standing in line. There weren't a ton of people there. And the people that worked on that show, to me at least, it looks like they really enjoyed what they were doing.
For sure.
They were funny. It was interesting. They would tell jokes and like the story of Disney and this whatever the kites. And so I think it's disappointing that they got rid of it. But here we are.
It was definitely something nice to not necessarily stop and watch. I watched it one time. That's all I needed. I just watched it one time. Don't need to ever watch it again. It's just one of those things at Disney personally for me. However, it is nice just to walk through that Asia section, like if you're going to walk to Everest or you're going to walk past Everest and you're going to go towards, Dino Land USA, it's nice to just have those small events going on that you could just take a quick look over and be like, oh, wow, okay, Kite Tales is going on. And they have the Lion King version going on, or they have the Jungle Book version going on. Like, that's what I miss about living at Disney. And also going to Universal because, they always had something going on. So it's just like, if I was off, if I was bored, I couldn't go with anybody, even going alone, you're just entertained with all of that small little stuff that Disney has going on the side or in basically like that little pavilion area. where they don't have anything going on right now.
Right.
Once again.
Well, and to me, the little things are what adds so much. I mean, with the 50th, Disney added the lights to Spaceship Earth on all the points, like around the ball.
Yeah.
And like, truly, why did it take so long for them to do that?
I was about to say, what gave it the 50th anniversary for them to decide to do that? Because that is super cool. And I hope that actually doesn't go away. I hope that's not just a 50th thing.
I'm pretty sure it won't go away. I mean, that I feel like that was a huge undertaking, but those lights just add so much to Spaceship Earth at night. And like, I don't know why it took them so long to like do that, to put those on there, because
at
that
first
should have been done years ago.
Yeah, because at first it was just lights. It was like purple/yellowish lights. I kind of remember it being like purple, orange, yellow, at nighttime.
Yeah.
But once they added those lights, what was it?
Well, I was going to say that's like the same as what it is now. Like they still have those colors on it, but they're much brighter and like more in your face, because each little point on the ball is a different light. But now it changes colors and they do other things. And it's like Spaceship Earth has its own show.
Yeah, it's so cool.
Yeah.
That I do like that.
Mm-hmm.
That evens out with the pain of the eyes with it when it comes to the harmonious barges.
Yes. Yeah.
It really does.
I agree. Well, I think it gives like the light shows. I mean, obviously it takes work to do it, but I think for Disney, it's very easy for them to like change a show or do something seasonal or whatever. And I think that'll bring people back. I mean, they have there's like a Kermit the Frog Rainbow Connection show that they do on those lights now that it's on Spaceship Earth.
Rainbow Connection.
Yeah. All right, song. Well, I don't even know the words of the song.
It's been a long time since I've actually heard it.
The Rainbow Connection, the lovers, the dreamers, and me.
That sounded pretty good.
Thank you. I've been practicing. But I think like they're only doing that during Festival of Arts. But they could easily do like a holiday show, or they could easily do like a flower and garden, something with like Save the Earth, or like whatever they want to do like on that.
100%.
They don't have to build anything. Like all they do is sit down in a room for like a week or so and program the lights to do whatever they're supposed to do, and then hit play every night.
Yep.
And I just think it's a very easy, simple something that they can keep and reuse and make it different, but it's also the same over and over and over again.
Yeah. And I feel like they are heading that direction as well, because just throughout the years of, going to the Disney parks, and even just through, like going through the program, I used to see changes and stuff. So I think it's really cool that they're using each park icon. You got the tree, the tower, castle, and then Spaceship Earth.
The tree, the castle, Spaceship Earth, and then that ugly thing that people call tower.
And then shut up. I gotta protect my tower, baby. But
I really hate that, right?
But yeah, I think like, okay, so since we're talking about tower, I think it's really cool what they do around Christmas time. That is super cool to me.
Now, I will say, like, putting the projections and stuff on the icons, I think is really cool. The projections that are on tower,
such a nice
during
touch.
The holidays. The only thing, like the projections that they do on the castle, I think are cool, but I don't like that now, especially during the holidays, the projections have taken over. I don't like that, because I thought the icicle lights on the castle like made it. For me, that was just like, it's officially Christmas at Disney. But now they're just like, it's less work if we just choose a different picture to put on the castle at nighttime. And I'm like, do better.
Yeah, that does make sense. I do miss the icicles. I'm not going to lie, because they could easily just turn that off for the projection show and then just turn them back on afterwards. And I think even, dude, Hollywood Tower Hotel, that ugly thing we call tower.
Yeah.
I think that thing would look fantastic with icicles on it as well. You could even do icicles in the branches on the Tree of Life.
Yeah.
Spaceship Earth would be kind of hard. Cool. I think you just have to make it like blue and look kind of like an icy winter color.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that would also be a nice touch. But I do like what they're doing with the icons of the parks. I do like that direction that they're heading.
I like that they're kind of like using them as a focal point, but I just want to make sure that like this is not just for the 50th, like they had that like iridescent color that was projected on the castle and tower. Like now they can do projections on tower all the time. They can do projections on the castle of something different or interesting all the time. Like not just during the 50th. Like let's, which like I know they like are trying to make the 50th special and that kind of thing, but now that we have this,
you got my
like,
wheels turning right now. You got my wheels turning because you know how Disney has Dapper Day, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now you just got me wanting to like defend Tower and just make Tower worth it for Gray Barn Hill.
Good luck.
Good luck. But I think what would be really cool too is like, I don't know, maybe they already have something like this that I've never even heard of, or maybe I did hear about it and I just, it's one of those subconscious thoughts where I'm like, oh, I know it exists. But however, let me get to my point. With Dapper Day, I think it'd be really cool if they had something at Hollywood Studios where they maybe had something involving the Tip Top Club. Maybe they had like an after hours or like after park hours event going on around Tower where you just have drinks and foods and it's just the Tip Top Club.
Or they could dress Tower or the castle in like the Dapper Dan stripes.
Yeah.
I think that would be cool to see.
It just fits the theming with Dapper, it's got kind of like that 1920s through the 40s look, just like Studios, just like Tower. I think that'd be a really cool addition. Yeah, my wheels turning a little bit.
Just that's what I'm here for. But anyway, during the 50th, Disney made a lot of changes, but they did add a lot of things. They did not add every single thing that we hoped they would at the time. They did add.
That's a lot of hoping. They can never add enough.
Well, they like said Tron would be open, and it wasn't.
I blame Chapek.
I mean, there's a lot of things I blame, but anyway, there were a lot of things they added. The first thing, of course, that will most likely go away because they're specifically for the 50th, are the character statues that are around all the parks. The 50 iconic Disney characters from different movies, which there are characters that I agree with that are iconic, and some characters I'm like, these aren't really iconic, but
because they're too new.
Yeah, but some of those characters represented like the newness of whatever the animation was at that time. But it was something that, those statues are really cool. Finding those statues, seeing them all over the place, like in their areas, was really cool.
It was cool. It was really cool standing next to you on the reunion trip because you had Magic Band Plus, which we can discuss pretty soon as well. But I just remember it would, the thing that comes to mind is shock you. Obviously, it doesn't shock you, but I guess buzz.
Yeah, it like vibrated or like buzzed. Yeah.
Yeah. And you'd be like, oh, statue's closed.
Yeah.
And you'd be like, it buzzed.
So at first, my wrist would just like buzz. And I'm like, what the heck is going on?
Yeah.
And I didn't realize that my Magic Band Plus would vibrate when I was near a 50th statue. And sometimes it was like, no. I had to like look it up and find out. But at first I was like, okay, like, yeah, there's a statue there. I know. But then there's some that are kind of hidden. I mean, like Cheshire Cat is like up in a tree by the teacups in Magic Kingdom, and that one's hard to find. And there's some in Animal Kingdom that are hard to find. And so I think that was kind of a cool touch with Magic Band Plus, but I thought it was cool to see the characters in their like local places in the parks, like Cheshire Cat and the Mad Hatter are at the Mad Tea Party. That makes sense. Stitch is at the Purple Wall in Tomorrowland. That makes sense. Minnie and Mickey are literally right next to the Walt and Mickey statue.
I think all Fab Five are over there.
Yeah,
or some of the Fab Five are like maybe not all of them.
I think all of them are like in like the hub area,
in the vicinity of the hub,
as well as like Chippendale, Dumbo, like some of those classics. But then you have Joe Gardner from Soul. Is that the movie? Is that what it's called?
Oh, you're talking about the piano guy? Never watched Soul, so I don't know his name.
That one's in Hollywood Studios in front of the Chinese Theater.
Yep.
Over kind of towards Brown Derby. But funny enough, so are Woody and Buzz, and they're not in Toy Story Land.
Yeah, they're not even close. Yeah.
But I think it was still cool, just like the areas that they put the statues, because it made it more of a place that you could stop, look at them, take pictures, and be like, yeah, this character is iconic because of blah.
Yeah, and I bet you they
And
didn't put them in Toy Story Land as well, just to not disrupt the theming of you're supposed to be a toy.
oh yeah, I mean
So
I mean that makes sense. But I just think it's really cool. I like those statues. I think they're awesome.
it was a
And I
nice touch
hope,
for the celebration. It really
yeah,
was.
I hope they go in some museum somewhere
Oh, you know
after
they
the
will.
celebration's over,
It belongs in
or
a museum.
if they're just like, oh, we need to give a gift to our best cast member we've ever had, Great Barn Hill. I will happily take Mickey Mouse. So
I'll take Goofy. So just donate Goofy to me, please.
there we go. There we go. But yeah, and then they added a bunch of other things, which this wasn't necessarily for the 50th, but it just was added during the 50th. You've got the Space 220 restaurant that was a huge addition. Creations and Club Cool
Club
were,
Cool is back, baby.
yeah, Club Cool's
I'm
back.
so
It's been
excited about that.
redone, and then you have Creations that took over where Mouse Gear was. It's a new food area. These are just new things that have been added that are going to stay forever, but they were added like during the 50th, so it's
Yeah,
something.
it's just nice little subtle touches that necessarily
Yeah.
wasn't part of the anniversary, but
Yep, the Ratatouille ride in France at Epcot was added, or that might have been like right before the 50th, actually, but basically during the 50th.
I was about to say count it.
Yeah. So you have all these things that have been added that are going to stay, which is really cool. Ratatouille Creations, Club Cool.
Before we get too far
etc.
away from that, how do you feel about that small little added section in the back of France with Ratatouille?
Personally, I love it.
Do you? I see. I feel like it's slightly overrated. I feel like they could have. I feel like they could have done a little bit more with the ride.
No, now the ride itself, I think they could have done more with because there's a lot of screens in that ride, which
Yes.
I'm not a huge fan of. Especially because Universal has a lot of rides that are screens, and that's something that a lot of people complain about.
Mhm.
But I think
it's the same ride, different theme at the end of the
yeah,
day.
but I think the area was small, and so Disney just kind of did what they could with it, with that area. But one of my favorite pictures that my mom and I took on our trip was in that area as soon as we got into Epcot in front of the fountain that's like in that space in front of the ride. I just think I think that area in the back is very immersive, and the sight lines from that back France area are very on point.
Yeah.
And so I think it's really well done, personally.
Yeah. I do like the section. Just a little upset with the ride. I'm glad that they added on to France because France is one of my favorite pavilions.
Yeah.
You know, just kind of stroll through, take your time, try to find something new, especially when you're living there, because everything kind of starts, you know, looking the same. And it's like, oh, they're still selling this. They still don't have like anything new. But once they have something new, it's like, okay, cool. Let's go check this out. But yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think they did a really good job with that area. The ride lacks a little bit, but it's still another ride, another attraction that people can go and do. And it gains capacity, I guess, for that park, at least a little bit, a few hundred people.
I don't know. I do want to talk about something that I'm not very happy about. Well, I'm not even going to say not very. I'm going to change that to slightly pissed.
Okay.
Genie Plus.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, let's talk about Genie Plus for a while because what a joke. I don't even know how it operates because number one, I don't care how it works because I resent it. And then number two, it's a stupid system from what I tried and attempted to operate with it through the app.
I mean, Genie Plus, you have to it's one of those things that everyone hates because you have to pay. It's more you have to pay. You're paying more money for it.
Yep.
And we used to get free fast passes, which I agree. We should still get free fast passes, and everyone has the same chance.
If you stay on property.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever. I'm sorry. It's late and we're doing this. I'm kind of tired. Anyway, So, like, I think it's dumb that you have to pay for it. You have to pay extra for it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm not surprised because, I mean, Universal, you've had to pay for Fast Pass stuff for like a while.
But it's just
And
one flat rate though when it comes to the express lane.
at Universal,
Yeah, it's just like one
yeah,
flat rate for the day rather than having to
yeah,
pay for every single individual ride. And then you have different
yeah.
tiers to my understanding as well.
Yeah, there are different tiers, and it really honestly confuses me how they like you book a ride and then you have to either ride that ride or wait like a certain amount of time to book another ride.
It's dumb.
Um, and well, they do that so that not everyone's just like booking all the spots at one time during the day, but that didn't happen with FastPass because they just
No.
opened spots at like a certain time of the day. Like Flight of Passage always opened at 11:01 and 1:01 p.m. Like 11:01 a.m. and 1:01 p.m. So like there were different times and people would go in and get them. And I don't know. I like FastPass. I didn't have to pay for it. I like FastPass because everyone had a chance. I liked FastPass because they could open up extra spots when they wanted to. I don't like Genie Plus because you have to pay for it and they're just nickel and diming us and trying to get more money out of you.
Well, that's the main reason they made the change because I can tell you right now with FastPass, one of the big things that I live by is if it's not broke, don't you can't.
Yeah.
If it's not broke, don't fix it.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of thing. So it's like I think that's why I'm so resentful about it because right off the bat, I hated the name, and I knew
Yeah.
that they were nickel and diming us to the point where I'm like, really, like you really feel like I don't know. It's pretty gutsy move.
But the problem is now it's hard to get around it. I mean, my mom and I went and we were like, we're not doing Genie Plus. It's not really worth it. And we didn't do it, but we had to wait in like every single line, and every
Yeah,
single line was an hour long. You just waste so much time waiting in line. You're like, you should get Genie Plus. But then you get Genie Plus, and then you still end up waiting in line for like half an hour, 45 minutes.
yeah, and you just paid 15
Um,
bucks for that.
and you just paid $15 to do that. And so you wait in a shorter line, which is good, but you still have to wait in line.
Yep. And
And
even then, like when I was living in Florida during the program, the only time I ever used fast passes is if somebody got a fast pass for me and them.
yeah,
That was it. When I went by myself,
no,
never got
I
a
use
fast pass or
FastPass all
anything.
the time. I use it all the time. I would just open up my app and be like, let's see what fast passes are open. Because that was the thing too, is like you didn't have to pay for it and then you pay for it and go, oh, they're all booked for the day. Like
Yeah.
FastPass, you could just open it up and be like, oh, this one's open. Sure, that sounds good. And you just like do it. Um,
I've just never been big on the app. Like I look at the app basically for wait times. Other than that, I'm gonna have to find and marry somebody that loves operating through that app because
I
I
mean, I
don't
use it
care.
for wait times and then mobile food ordering, but
Mobile
that's
food
about it,
orderings,
truly.
mobile ordering is good. I like
Yeah,
mobile ordering.
mobile
That is
ordering is
nice
good.
because you can be across the park, order it, and then just
Mhm.
walk that way. And it majority of the time, depending on the season, depending on holidays and stuff like that, it is ready within 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah,
At
it's ready
most.
pretty quickly. And if you know like how long it takes you to get across the park, you probably have to go a few times to like know that. Um, but like you can be like, I'm here and get there like right as your food is ready.
For sure.
So if
Yeah.
you just like time it right. But
Overall,
yeah, I mean,
yeah. Overall, great. When it comes to the 50th anniversary, how'd you feel about it?
overall, there were a lot of things that I liked that Disney did. There were a lot of things that I wasn't a huge fan of. But overall, I think I was kind of disappointed.
I think I'm gonna have to say the same.
Because I feel like Disney during the 50th was the exact same before the 50th with a different color.
Yeah, they just kind of had like things here and there. Now, did they make
Right.
changes to the park? Yes. They had some stuff going on for the 50th, but I'm also a bigger fan, I think, of having those smaller openings. Like, with Splash Mountain closing during the 50th.
Mm-hmm.
And then now they're gonna have Tiana's, is it River Adventure, Bayou Adventure? I don't know the
Something like
exact
that.
title
I
of
don't
it.
know.
I don't even know if it's set in stone yet. I think they're going with one, but it might change.
Yeah.
Um, but I'm more excited about stuff like that than, you know, a 50th anniversary where it's park wide, property wide.
But see, to me, like I liked that it was property wide and they had the logo everywhere, and there were some things that you could get everywhere. Like there were some merch that you could buy everywhere. There was some merch you could only buy per park. Um, and so I liked that aspect of it, and everything was kind of tied together
Mm-hmm.
in some way. Um, but I just didn't like that everything just felt the same. Like, okay, technically they had a different fireworks show at the castle, and technically they had a different show at Epcot. But like it was the same day at Epcot with a different nighttime show. It was the same day
Yep.
at Magic Kingdom with a different nighttime show. Um, there wasn't like stuff going throughout the day that was like it's the 50th. There wasn't stuff that was going on throughout the day that yeah, everybody didn't get a free pin when they walked in to the park that said we're here for the 50th or
Yeah.
whatever. It was
They didn't even have 50th buttons. Now that I think
no,
about it.
no. Well, and I say pin, but like that's what I was thinking. Like
Yeah.
as everyone walked into the park, it would be really cool if they handed out 50th buttons. I mean,
Yeah.
those are free anyway. Like if they, I don't know. Um, but I just wish that there was like a little more that they did that was like, this is our 50th anniversary of Disney World. I also think, and like I've kind of brought this up, they had like a different nighttime show for Magic Kingdom. And I went and
Which
watched it.
sucked.
I was disappointed in it
Yep.
because a lot of it was Disney movies, which like hello, that's where Disney started was like animation and movies. I get that. But this was the 50th anniversary of the park, and so I would have liked to see a little more park history throughout the whole park in the shows in the park. You can go and like read about stuff of, and this was Walt's idea for this and Walt's idea for this and how this came to be. Um, and so I just wish there was like a little bit more of that kind of stuff that would have been like, this is a 50th celebration of this park, not just like,
Yeah, I'm glad that you brought that up because it was in the small list that we made sure that we wanted to have these points touched on. And one of them was merch, and we just didn't really discuss it because I know you bought merch, obviously you have it on right now. I don't have one item from the 50th, which I probably
yeah,
need to get on Shop Disney and just go ahead and get at least one thing just for the event, even though I wasn't 100% happy with it. But
yeah.
just like what you were discussing, you know, like I get it. They made their start from the movies, but this was more so of a park celebration. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So it would have been nice for them with the merch route to have way more merch, not with like, you know, just slap Winnie the Pooh on there. You know,
Mm-hmm.
where we're by when like it would have been nice to have a bunch of stuff that celebrated the rides, celebrated just inside the park stuff, and
Yeah,
just have
see,
way more park
I tr-
heavy.
I truly was hoping for more park specific merch.
Mm-hmm. I want it
Like
that way anyway.
all of, I mean, I agree with you. But like all of the park merch was blue. I'm wearing a blue shirt with a blue hat, and it just has this like goldy iridescent,
Iridescent,
like
yeah.
shimmery with the number 50 on it, which is cool. That's the logo. That's like the thing for the 50th. But
They made it everything.
like in my head, why wasn't there like some sort of statue of each park icon with like a 50 on it? Or why wasn't there like a uh um like opening day rides thing that you could get? Opening day rides playset or opening day rides picture poster or thing
I think
or
yeah,
t-shirt or
their merch
something.
team has just gotten lazy. Graphic team,
Um
merch team. I feel like
Yeah, I
they've all
mean
gotten lazy.
all of their merch looked the same. There was a blue jacket with this logo on it. There's a hat with this logo on it. This Spirit jersey has this logo on the back of it. Um, like they had sweatpants. This logo on it. The ornaments are literally just this. Like that's all it is.
It's just very it's too simple. It's too simple for big Disney fans like us. Now, people that are just going on vacation during the 50th, they think it's the coolest thing in the world.
Yeah, no. Well, and I'm not going to say, I mean, Disney sold a lot of it. They really did.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe I'm just a person that's like looking for things. I mean, I personally like to have shelves of, I mean, you can see behind me, I've got like shelves of things that are Disney.
Basically that whole thing.
But like I like to have like statues and things just like around that mean stuff to me. So I think it would be really cool. I mean, they kind of did this with McDonald's with like the 50th statues, but they focused more on the characters, which again are cool. But since this was a park specific celebration, I think it would have been cool if they did what they did with the McDonald's toys, but they would have done ride vehicles.
Yeah.
Or you know, something like that. And maybe it's just the opening day attractions like Small World, Jungle Cruise, the Tiki Room.
But that would still be plenty enough stuff to work with though, and making different types of merch.
Yeah, 100%. So I don't know. I just feel like it would have been cool to have some kind of park specific merch that's like looking at park items, not this is park specific because you could only buy it in the parks. Like that's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a t-shirt that has all 4 parks on it and it's like just the icons, or the icons are like in a weird pattern that like spells out 50th or something. I don't know.
No, I'm definitely on the same boat as you. So yeah, I don't know. They dropped the ball on that as well. It was a good celebration. It's like one of those where it's like, you know, that it's a good party, but at the end of the day, it's like that's not the best party I've ever been to.
Yeah.
And I guess before we close out and wrap it up as well, Gray, I got one final question for you when it came to the 50th anniversary, because I was in debate with several people for a while when it was about to kick off and once it first started as well with the 50th anniversary. Do you think that they should have kept it Magic Kingdom specific? Or do you think that they made it a smart decision to make it property wide?
So Magic Kingdom was the only one that opened in 1971. So truly
the only one that's been around 50 years.
Yeah. It's not the 50th celebration of Disney World, like all the parks, but it's the 50th celebration of what was there. But I think for them, it was a good idea to do all 4 parks because Disney World started in Magic Kingdom, and that was the first thing that opened in 71. But I think the celebration included all of Disney World because it was celebrating all
because they expand.
Right. And that was part of Walt's vision of, you know, he bought 10,000 some acres or whatever of land. And he knew that, you know, even if he was still alive today, like he knew that Disney World wasn't going to stay just this tiny Magic Kingdom. Like he knew the Magic Kingdom was going to grow, and he knew like he was planning on having Epcot. He was planning on, you know, all this like different stuff. And so he knew it was going to be more than just that. And so I think it was good to have the celebration across all of property, because in Walt's original vision, there was a future, there was growth. And so that growth is part of the celebration. So I do agree with that.
And I've never looked at it that aspect. So I'm glad that you brought that awareness to me as well. Because back then, I wish that they just kept it Magic Kingdom specific.
Interesting.
Yeah. Well, because I mean, with the budget that they had, and then with Magic, because I'm pretty strict / stern with certain stuff like that, where I'm like, Hollywood, Animal, and Epcot were not around for 50 years. Only Magic Kingdom was. Only Magic Kingdom has the right to celebrate this. But the way that you just worded it opened up my eyes just a little bit and explained it a little bit better than what my brain has, and then other people has to me as well. So that just makes sense, because I mean, like you said, the growth is part of the celebration. The celebration is, you know, is the growth of what Disney World has became over the last 50 years. So yeah, that was nice.
Because you are the magic.
But yeah, I think that was a pretty good finale episode for season 2 here on the Goofy Scoop podcast. Are we going to have a season 3? Stick around and figure out November 1st of 2023 later this year. We haven't decided yet. Pretty sure we are, though, because we always talk about Disney. In between seasons, we're even on the phone talking about Disney. And I always enjoy talking Disney with Gray.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah. Even just like that one late night at Magic Kingdom, all we did was just have deep talks about Disney. It's always nice.
That should be a new podcast. Deep talks about Disney.
Deep Disney. What's
the DTAD? The DTAD. DTAD.
Might be having a name change.
Podcast. No, we're not doing that.
No, I'm not having a name change. Because what you can do is find us on Instagram at The Goofy Scoop. And then also on YouTube, you can type in just The Goofy Scoop in the search bar. You're going to find all of our videos, all 25 videos. This one makes it number 25 for the Goofy Scoop podcast. However, if you want to see Goofy Scoop vlogs as well from 2019/2020, you can type in Jeff the Regular. That's my YouTube channel name. And then you can go to the Goofy Scoop playlist found in that channel as well. So go ahead and give us some likes, some subscribes. More to come November 1st of 2023. Gray, you have anything else to add?
No, that was fantastic.
Was it? I did that in like 2 breaths. I was trying to do it in 1, but I couldn't.
Happy 50th, Jeff.
Happy 50th. It's over. Let's see what they bring. I'm glad that some of the stuff is sticking permanently. I'm glad that some of this stuff is going away in April. But
amen. Cheers.
Other than that, season 2 finale, episode 10. Thank you guys for sticking around for 2 seasons. And Gray, I'll see you on season 3.
The magic is calling, calling, calling.
All right. Thank you for watching us on the Goofy Scoop, and we'll see you real soon.
Bye.